We're talking about one of my favorite topics, food. Joining me are three of Boston's top experts on the subject. Joanne Chang, no, that's her on the cover of the Globe magazine. Here she is live and flour-free. She's the co-owner of Flour Bakeries and Myers & Chang. Great to see you, Joanne. And the other half of that duo, that'd be Christopher Myers. Nice to see you, Christopher. We're also joined in the middle by Roger Berkowitz, President and CEO of Legal Seafoods. We decided to split up the couple, by the way, so they don't consult on their answers. Good to see all three of you. So, no tipping. Western Europe, it's all the rage. It's been happening. Danny Meyer in New York City owns 13 restaurants. He's doing it. Do you embrace the notion, or you're not so crazy about it, Joanne?
I love the notion. Christopher and I just got back from a couple of weeks in Japan where there's no tipping anywhere, and it's really amazing. People worry that it's not going to be as hospitable, people aren't going to get great service.
Because the servers don't have an incentive.
Exactly, but we had fabulous service, and I think we could do it here as well.
Are you going to do it here?
We are talking about it. We would love to.
How about you?
I'm curious about it. I really want to watch and see what happens. I know it works in Europe and different parts of the world, but it's part of the culture there. It's not part of the culture here. So I think servers in general like to be incentivized. So I'm curious to see what happens with Myers Group.
Do you know you two have the exact same glasses on? Do you know that?
We do.
Sorry.
She brought them for both of us.
Okay, fine. I'm sorry. Do you disagree with anything she said?
Just about everything usually, but one, she doesn't like, she would love tipping to be included because she's never had any money on her ever. But in New York, Danny is very smart. He's making a virtue a necessity. Cooks can't afford to live in New York City. They just can't. They have to pay them more. They're not going to be able to open up any more restaurants.
And this would allow them to split the gratuity more.
I've always said we don't barter about our wine prices. We don't barter about our food. Why should we barter about our service? It's either great or it's not. Come back if you love it. Don't if you don't. You want to talk to us about the food experience you've had, and maybe we'll change what we charge you. But the whole 15, 20, 25% I think is
Love hearing
antiquated.
This. Okay, can we talk about transparency for I'm a huge transparency guy in everything. So calorie counts are on menus in some places or on boards. In New York City this week, little salt shaker is on the menu if any of the items exceed the daily allowance of sodium. What do you think? Look at the look on your face. What do you think about this level of transparency?
I think it's good as long as there's a level playing field, that everyone has to do it. Sometimes, in New York for a while had said, if you have more than X number of restaurants, you had to do it, but if you were an independent, you had one or two.
Well, that's what the Affordable Care Act says for the end of next year. Yeah. And I know you don't like calling your place a chain, so I won't, but you're covered by that, aren't you?
Yes.
So you're going to start having to do it at the end of next year?
Yes.
And you're not happy?
No, I'm going along.
So if Flour Bakery, where I spend a lot of time, if Flour Bakery had to put up calorie things, would that be like the end of the business or no?
I worry about that, but I also know, I just read some study where they said when they add the calorie counts to items, people don't read them. People don't actually.
But don't they have a right to know it? I'm stunned by that. I read the same studies, but don't they have a right to know what they're eating? What are you about to say?
No, I agree. I think it should be available. But what happened, we had a restaurant in New York where, because they said we had more than 10 restaurants, we had to put it on there, but the restaurants next door to us didn't. And all of a sudden, our calorie counts were actually lower than a lot of the items there, but when people saw what they were, they started ordering salads. So if you're going to do it, everyone has to do it. My feeling is, look, if you're going out to eat, you have to understand that there's going to be some differences in calories. Have it available. Oh, let someone have it. So here, these
but not right in your face, kind of
exactly.
Thing. Speaking of labeling, there's a big debate in Washington about whether or not they ban labeling of genetically modified foods, which reminded me of something. There was this whole thing about genetically modified salmon. I don't know if you read about this thing, but there's a local restaurateur, Christopher, said he wasn't going to serve genetically modified salmon, and I had him on the radio, and he said he was not going to serve it for health reasons, but his suggestion was instead, why don't we just try it out on prisoners? So the two questions for you are, one, what do you think of that idea, and what do you think of the person who suggested it, Christopher?
No, I only have one question. Who said that? I'm dying to know.
Do you have any idea who said that?
Yes.
It was him.
So okay, really? Try it on prisoners?
Yes.
I think
the FDA approved it,
Okay, what do I think of the guy? I think he's sensational. He's got great taste in eyewear. What do I think about that?
Do you guys sell genetically modified stuff in your restaurants?
No, we do not.
And why do you not? Same concerns he has about health potential?
Yeah, I think we try to source our products responsibly, and we know that that's an issue.
At least for now. So
For
you're
now,
not convinced
correct.
it's dangerous. You're convinced the question is not yet answered.
Correct.
Which is where you are.
Yeah, well, think about prisons. If you have a 5-year sentence, a 10-year sentence,
Yeah.
It's like the Framingham Health stuff.
I think you're digging yourself a little deeper though there, Roger, but you can do what you want. I would assume, I haven't been in Myers and Chang in the last few weeks, nor in Legal Seafoods, but I would assume the hottest topic, both with the cooks and in the restaurant itself, of course, relating to food, is Donald Trump. So could you give us, obviously, give us like 15 seconds of Donald Trump. Control yourself, Christopher, if you can, please.
He's just crazy. He's crazy that we've gone this far that the media, I think they're pussyfooting around with him and they're giving him way too much attention, and it's really dangerous. And I think that we had one actor, one wrestler that was a governor.
Jesse Ventura.
Sonny Bono was the mayor of Palm Springs.
He was congressman too.
Anything can happen.
How about,
but this guy's a nut.
How about you?
I agree. He is absolutely a nut, and he's fomenting hate.
Has he ever eaten in one of your restaurants?
Not that I know of.
Would you let him in your restaurant?
I don't think I would.
Is that true?
That's true.
Would you let him in Myers and Chang? Let me ask her.
You have a
Would you
lot
let her
in
in
common
Myers and Chang?
Would I let him in Myers and
Yeah.
Chang? I would.
What do you think of him? Excuse me, I'm talking to her for a second. Thank you, gentlemen. Yeah.
I don't agree with anything that he talks about. I agree with Christopher and Roger. I think he's crazy and he's a nut. But I feel like we have a lot of crazy people who come to the restaurant.
Okay, we'll leave it. We're going to do a lightning round because I have so many things in very little time.
That wasn't the lightning
That was. We'll go down here quickly. Chipotle. Would you eat it?
Oh my gosh, we've been talking about Chipotle a lot lately. I would, because I feel like they're paying attention, but it's definitely a big concern.
Would you?
Not in Boston.
Not in Boston.
I wouldn't right now because I don't think it's under control.
Would you?
It's a very professionally run company. I go back. I'm not sure what they're dealing with right now, but it can happen.
Okay, bacon.
Shouldn't, but
After the WHO report, what's your relationship with bacon after that?
I love bacon.
And so it doesn't change anything?
No.
How about you? Same deal?
Same deal.
You, Joanne
I
Chang?
missed the report.
What?
I missed the report.
Cancer causing. You didn't see
Oh,
it?
no, I
Cold
did
cuts
not.
and all that sort of. It's
In
better you don't read
moderation.
it.
I don't eat
Moderation,
bacon.
it's all.
So
What?
I don't eat bacon.
You don't eat? What, are you a vegetarian?
Somewhat.
Oh my goodness. Okay, fake or real Christmas tree, starting with you.
Real.
Of course.
Fake.
Fake. Fake?
Jesus,
Well, yes, it's a lightning round.
Okay,
Let's
how
not
about you?
stop.
Anyway, I want to start handling your PR. You're not going on TV anymore.
What do you say?
Real.
Okay, now, BYOB, they're about to do this thing in Boston, outlying restaurants, outlying communities, and the notion is you can't get a liquor license either too expensive or not available. You guys all have liquor licenses. They'd be available to help these small businesses. Do you support that?
I'm going to say I have to, because young entrepreneurs that don't have enough cash to do, and they have the ambition, they have some talent, I'm going to say it needs to be limited.
But limited meaning because you're worried about you think it's unfair.
Well, right now they've demarked the neighborhoods where
Yes.
you can't do it, but every one of those neighborhoods is contiguous with another neighborhood. So they're all going to be impacted somewhat by small businesses being able to do stuff they can't do.
How about you?
I'm always in favor of a level playing field, and I think that in an underserved community, I think that's fine. Under 30 seats, I think that's fine. One of the dangers, though, that comes out of that is that we all have liquor liability. We're all trained on how to stop underage drinking, how to overindulge. You have a customer that comes into a restaurant. They're going to feel entitled. Hey, I brought this in. I'm entitled, and the service staff may not push back on some of these. So it's a public safety issue, and then also there's I think that frankly, there's too many restaurants right now. I think that there was a report that there's 10% overcapacity. So it's sort of incentivizing people to get into a very competitive scenario.
You know this is a lightning round, correct?
Oh my God.
I'm overdone.
Joanne, what do you think about the BYOB thing?
I think it's a good idea.
You do. But you seem to be not saying something that's the end of that sentence.
No, I was trying to be lightning round.
Oh, you were lightning round. Joanne Chang, it's great to see you.
Great to see
Love
you.
all three of you and your restaurants. Roger, it's a pleasure
Thank you.
as always. Christopher, good to see you. Two same glasses.